Hi, good morning everybody. Thanks for joining me this morning. So let me just show you where we're starting from. This is the little park at the top of the Katoomba Falls Lookout Walk. So we're starting from Katoomba Falls Kiosk, which sadly is closed at the moment, but it's a cute little kiosk. And this dates back from, probably I think the 1930s, perhaps 1940s. This little kiosk here, which at various times has been not only a kiosk but a restaurant, art gallery, souvenir shop. But at the moment it's in between iterations. And let's have a look in the background there at the beautiful Blue Mountains escarpment. All right, so if you have a look between the trees, you can actually see the beautiful red rocks of the sandstone escarpment over there. Let's zoom in and have a look at it. Lovely Blue Mountain scenery over there in the background. And when I pulled up, we had some galahs in the park, but I startled them and they flew off. We're hoping that we'll see more birds as we walk along this morning. Right now, I think we've got 2 degrees. It's quite chilly. I'm rugged up for snow. Oh, there's a little person over there on the picnic table. It's a female satin bowerbird. The male bowerbird actually builds a beautiful bower to woo his potential mate, fills it with little blue objects. I'm just stalking a cockatoo over here behind the garbage bin. Hold on. Let's see if I can... Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. Look at you. Good morning, cockatoo. Just sort of having a little waddle there behind the park bench. Why did the cockatoo cross the road? He's not in any hurry, is he? Look at him. There you go. Alrighty. They're really tame, aren't they? Oh, there's a few here. Yeah, good morning, Cocky. Now, how are you this morning? We've got your crest up. Very inquisitive. Having an altercation with a galah. Look at the galah. I need to walk past you and you're going to fly off. There we go. All right, so we're going to walk down some steps up ahead. Let me give you a bit of an idea of where we're going this morning. So we're starting where that red marker is, and we're going to walk down into this area here. So there are actually 4 lookouts, and if I get a chance, I might even go out to the 5th one as well. And we're going to be looking at the waterfalls and Mount Solitary, and we're actually going to get a glimpse of the 3 Sisters while we're down there too. But we'll start off by taking you down these steps, and I will need to hold on to the rail. So as some of you may or may not be aware, we've had an awful lot of rain this year, which means that a lot of the tracks in the Blue Mountains were closed due to risk of landfall, landslides. And that includes the one just down the bottom of the steps here, which takes you round to the Cascades. And when we get to this point, you can actually hear the water falling from the Cascades. I'm going to tilt the camera down and see if you can see down into the gully down here. This is where we get really beautiful rainforest. It's quite obscured because there's just so much undergrowth at the moment. morning, everyone who's just joined. And where we are right now is in the Blue Mountains National Park. I noticed that my signal just dropped momentarily, but hopefully it should be good for the most of the time here. Can you hear the cockatoos in the background? Just taking it slowly down these stairs. My knees don't like stairs very much, so we're just taking it quite slowly. Yeah, they're a noisy bunch around here, Susanna. I'm going to have to stop to read your message, Marge. It's quite a long message. Bear with me. So here we can see that, well, it looks like the track is reopened, but there is a warning sign. This is where one of the tracks was closed because of the risk of landslides. So we've got a warning up indicating to take care. We're not going that way today. That is a beautiful walk. Another day I'll take you down there. When I went on a tour of the Blue Mountains, it was so foggy, we didn't see much. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Looks like a nice clear day. It is. It's beautiful, Marge. And we have some lovely lookouts to go and see. Ooh. Down to the left here is the start of the Prince Henry Cliff Walk. Another walk I'd like to take you on another day. We may, if we get time, have a look at the start of it, but you can see all the stairs down there. It may depend how I'm feeling after we've gone up these stairs here and back down them again later. So let's see how we go. I'll show you something. What they've actually done here is put lights into the walk, into the path here. So you can see there's one there. So at dusk, the path is lit up at night, and I have been toying with the idea of bringing you on a nighttime walk here to actually see the night lit walk. So that one's in the planning. There's a few of those little seats. Look, here's another one. Marsha, I live about 15 minutes from here. So this is the first lookout, the Witch's Leap Falls. So at this point we're standing on the edge of a gully. There's the waterfall over there. Let's zoom in for a better look. Quite a lot of water in the waterfalls after all the rain that we've been having. Yes, Witch's Leap. So there's the top of the falls. Into the beautiful Australian bush. I've been up here at night time many years ago, and because of the floodlights, I'm actually standing above one. Let's see if I can show it to you. You get lots of bats because you get lots of insects. So you'll have the moths flying around here above the gully, and then there'll be bats chasing them. So that's one of the floodlights just there. Whew, my nose is cold. Let's zoom out again so that you can see. This is the typical of the rocky terrain around the Blue Mountains. The sandstone covered in lichen moss. So here we are back again looking at the Witch's Leap. And there's we'll try and get it with Susanna, I live about 15 minutes away. It's actually about 15 kilometres. So there's Witches Leap Falls sign with, trying to get it with the falls itself in the picture. It looks like I'm not going to get it, am I? The water at this point, I believe, is coming from a hanging swamp. So in the Blue Mountains, there's lots of what's called hanging swamps, and they are swamps that are along the top of the ridgeline. They hold more water than the creeks down below. It's flowing into Katoomba Creek, and that ultimately flows into the Sydney water supply at Warragamba Dam. So if we walk from here, those birds you're hearing are wattle birds. Thanks, Suzanne. I'd love to see you on more of my tours. Let's see if I can... Oh, he just flew off. I was trying to catch the wattle bird for you. They're about... Marsha, this is my 4th tour since I moved. I did 2 locally in my street. One in my street, one in the next suburb, which is Wentworth Falls. And I'm going to walk... See, I've got a choice of 2. The seats are fabulous, Susanna, they really are. Well, this is a very gentle walk once you get up the stairs, but even so, it's just nice to sit and look out over the valley. Here's a lovely spot we can look at the valley from here. And I did a tour. Thanks, Marion. I really appreciate it. I did a tour, Marsha, at a place called Kale's Lookout, which is a stunning lookout. And I mean to go back there when it's not windy, because the wind was a real problem that day. All right, so here we can still hear the falls, but they're just slightly out of view. But what you can see is just the gorgeous valley and gully here. Looking down into the gully, it's like an amphitheatre, and the sounds of the birds really echo. I'm pleased to hear it, Marsha. I was a little worried. We've had dangerous gale force winds for the last 3 days, and they've just dropped today. I'm so happy. It's a great area, Susanna. They've really catered to the tourists here, right from, I'd say, about the 1920s. And I'll give you the first glimpse of what we'll see later on in the tour as well. I don't know if you can see it. I might have to scoot over there to have a look at it. Here's the Scenic Skyway. He appears to have stopped in the middle. Look at that. Here we go. Do you see the people standing on top of it? Let me zoom in. How'd you like to be those guys? I hope they've harnessed. So we are right next to, are they mad? Yes, perhaps. We are right next to Scenic World at this point. Scenic World has 3 ways of getting into and around the valley area here. This is the Scenic Skyway. And there's also the Scenic Railway and the Scenic Cableway. Now, where it's going to is the station just out of view behind the trees, but we'll get it into a different position later on in the tour where we can see that. I'll come back to it. So this has been a tourist area since the late 1800s. let's get out of zoom so I don't make you all seasick. There we go. Go up here, up these steps here. Sydney siders realised that this was a perfect area to escape to from the heat of Sydney, and really made the most of this as a resort town. Now this is really cool. Have a look where we're about to head here. We're going to go under this rock. Watch your head, folks. We need to duck as we get down here. This is a great little lookout. Okay, I'll just stop and pause and pan across a little here. We'll get another look down into the valley. This handrail is cold. I should have gloves on. Here we go. So, okay. We're going to walk through this little tunnel around this corner. And this is Orphan Rock Lookout. And you can see there's Orphan Rock. Look at the sign, and there's the rock that it's talking about, Orphan Rock. And back in the 1920s, this was even more famous than the Three Sisters. We're going to have a look at the Three Sisters in a second. Orphan Rock, I'm going to zoom in on it and see if you can see it. There are walks and stairs we can actually climb over to that rock and up on top of it. Not anymore, it's closed. It's considered dangerous, and I would tend to agree. poor rock. But back in the day, you used to be able to climb up onto that rock. It was very famous as a destination. Scenic World is just on top of that hill there. So that's where the Scenic Skyway is right now. I don't know when their first tour starts. Might be a little early, but hopefully we'll get to see it go across the valley, across this cable again while we're here. And you can see if I look across the valley, there's another lookout, another walkway path over there. So there's paths and guardrails all around this area, but they're not invasive. I'll zoom out again so that we can pan. So those of you who actually saw a glimpse of the Scenic Skyway a little while ago, that's a new cabin. It's just been installed in the last few weeks, and they have tours where you climb out on top of that car, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, but some people will do it. And that's the cable that leads across to the second station, the east station over there. Now, who caught a glimpse of the famous ladies while I was panning? There we have them. There's our beautiful Three Sisters. And there's an Aboriginal legend around the Three Sisters that once upon a time, in the dream time, three beautiful girls of the Gundungurra Nation fell in love with three boys from the Darug Nation. The Gundungurra is this area around here where this valley is. And the Darug is the nation at the bottom of the hill, the flatlands, the Western Sydney lands. Marriage between the two nations was forbidden, and a war broke out between the two clans. The medicine man to protect the three girls, turned them into stone with the intention of turning them back to their real life forms once the war was over. But he was killed in the battle. And so we have the three sisters in perpetuity here overlooking the Gundungurra lands. Their names are Nini, Wimla and Gunduru. So that's the legend of the three sisters. And in between the three sisters and Orphan Rock, this is Mount Solitary. Here we go. Which is a mesa, a tableland, flat-top mountain. I would have loved to have done walks to Mount Solitary, but those days are long gone for me, I think. I do know a few people who've done it. It's a bit of a trek. It's like an overnight camping trek to get over there. You camp on top of the mountain. Waiting to see if the Scenic Skyway is going to take off again. We'll take one last look at Orphan Rock and head to a different lookout. So there we are, Orphan Rock with Scenic World. Okay, let's go find another lookout. Just slowly move around back to the path. It sounds like the first tourists have just arrived. We like to get up here early before the tourists get here because it can get quite crowded. Okay, here we are. This is when we've got to duck under the rock. Watch we don't get bump our head on the rock above. And slowly climb these stairs. I love the moss. Look at the moss on the rock here. There's a lot of beautiful moss around the mountains at the moment because of all the rain that we've had. Right, so here's our third lookout, which really just gives you another great look at. Sorry, I've got a.
Is there any water down those where you've just come from?
There, Witch's Leap Falls. There's a waterfall down there.
I can hear it.
Yes,
and you can see it easily.
Yes. All right, so this is Solitary Lookout. Another look at Orphan Rock, and there's Scenic World over there in the background. I'd love to take you to Scenic World, but at $50 a ticket, it's a big ask. One day when I've got lots and lots and lots of followers and lots of bookings, I'll take you to Scenic World and we'll go down on the Scenic Railway, which is quite a stunning trip. It used to be coal country here. So just on the other side of Orphan Rock, the train actually goes down, literally goes down through a carved, what would you call it? It's not really a tunnel, it's kind of a gorge. So the train goes down there on the other side of Orphan Rock and then down into the valley. 56 degrees, I think, is the angle of incline of that railway. It's the steepest railway in the world. So one day, hopefully, I can get to take you there. And this is the East Station for the Scenic Skyway. And look, guys, look what we have here. So we can look all the way down, the way down. There we go. And that's Katoomba Falls, which comes from Katoomba Creek. Hold on. Look, Susanna, look. My red hands. Thank you, Doreen. I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into a really nice position for the falls and the beautiful escarpment here. I believe, Suzanne, it's 130 metres, the falls. We are at around about just under 1,000 metres elevation here. The Three Sisters are between 920 and just over 900 metres elevation to the tops of their peaks. I believe the falls are around about 130 metres in height, the total height of the falls. So they flow into Katoomba Creek. And there we have the valley down below, which are predominantly eucalypts. So it's predominantly a eucalyptus forest. And then that valley ultimately flows into Warragamba Dam, which is the water supply for Sydney. Koala land, absolutely. At night time, you get possums here. I can see a cockatoo sitting in the tree down there. Let's see if we can spot him. We can hear him. Where are you, Cocky? I'm trying to spot you. Got buttons in the way. Oh, there he is. There he is. They're just tiny dots down there in the valley. I saw a couple more, but they seem to have hidden themselves in the foliage. What I was hoping to see, we are still keeping a lookout for, are lyrebirds. Does anyone know what a lyrebird is? Have you heard of them before? What I'll do is I'll post an image of what they look like in case we don't get to see one. But they're one of nature's best mimics. So let's see, I'm just going to post an image. And this is a painting by John Gould, who was in the Gould Bird Lovers Society when they were at school. I know I was, primary school. We had the Bird Lovers Society. We used to have a little badge. So that is a painting by John Gould. Now they can mimic just about anything, and I highly recommend. That's my husband over there doing a cooee from that other lookout over there. So we'll head over there. The lyrebird is nature's best mimic, and that he's been known to mimic everything from chainsaws to mobile phones to every bird you can possibly think of. And they're gorgeous. And I have seen them. I have seen them in the bush around here, but they are quite elusive, and they're also well camouflaged. Now, this is an oddity. I don't know who decided to build fake caves, but this is a concrete cave. And I think they were popular in maybe the 1940s, 1950s as shelters, picnic caves. And a seat, Susanna. 2 seats, 3 seats, in fact. And the other oddity is that someone's actually created a few fake Aboriginal hand paintings. So the real things are, yes, echoes. We've got echoes. So you can actually see these in caves that could be hundreds or thousands of years old, and they've been created with ochres, and they blow the paint onto the walls of caves. These, I think, are possibly smaller hands and more recent acrylic paints, perhaps. But you get the idea. So that's what the Aboriginal hand cave paintings would look like. But this is just, I think it's hilarious. These caves, these fake caves are quite hilarious, I think. So let's go around to that final lookout. And if you've got time, as I said, if you've got time, I'll see if we can go to the fifth one. But we'll go to this one over here. This one's called Solitary Lookout. I think I said the other one was called Solitary Lookout, so I must have got the name wrong. Yeah, this is Solitary Lookout. Obviously, this is where you can get a great view of Mount Solitary from. We're almost standing above the falls here. So the Katoomba Falls, I can hear them. They're just over there, hidden behind the trees. Oh, thank you, Susanna. And Richard's standing over there on that other lookout. So I'm just going to make my way slowly back to that point where the Prince Henry Cliff Walk starts, and we'll see if we've got time just to have a little quick look down there at one last lookout. I'll hang on to the guardrail here while I walk down these stairs. Do you get gangs in Melbourne, Susanna? I've actually seen them in our backyard once. They are beautiful, aren't they? So at least I was able to show you the sulphur-crested cockatoos this morning and the galahs, which are comical favourites. We'll take a little walk down Prince Henry Cliff Walk for anyone who wants to take a postcard of the sign. I love galahs. They're such characters. Okay, so we are going to go slowly down here. Look at the beautiful tree ferns. Don't forget, keep an eye out for lyrebirds. If you hear a noise, tell me, and we'll see if we can find one. Look at this fallen tree here with the moss on it. Yeah, it's getting that way here too, Katie. There are not many paths in the Blue Mountains that are wheelchair accessible, but there are one or two. This one certainly isn't. Some different kinds of ferns here. Look at these. These are quite interesting. Get a little red-pink tinge on the end of their leaves. Oh, this handrail's cold. It's hardly leg accessible. I have to agree with you there. And I want to show you this tree. Look at the moss growing on the bark. Ticks in wooded areas. We do get ticks. We get ticks in places, like there's an area in Sydney where my parents used to live, the Northern Beaches, which is one of the green suburbs. And they used to have a problem with ticks. I think they associated them with the ferns, you know, like these sort of ferns. I've never really had a problem with ticks, but I know when we used to send our kids to my mother's place and they would let them out in the backyard, sometimes they'd come home with ticks. The sun's just starting to peek through. This walk here tells me it's 2 minutes walk, so that sounds pretty much ideal for me. One last look out. Or 5 minutes to Katoomba Cascades. Which way should we go? Let's go down to the Cascades. Katie, I hope that my being able to bring you here helps you in that regard. And for all those who can't do these kinds of trips in person. That's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be your legs. Not very quick legs, not very strong legs, but legs nonetheless. Oh, I'm getting a battery warning. Hold on a second. Why am I getting a battery warning? I shouldn't be getting a battery warning. I'll see if I can plug it into the gimbal. Get it out of there and plug it into here. Hopefully that sorts things out. All right, so this is the Duke and Duchess of York lookout. Is that better, Cindy? Is that improved? It might have been just while I was plugging in to the gimbal. This is quite a spectacular lookout, and it's got a couple of things I'd like to show you. First of all, this is a grass tree. Yes, I saw that while I was struggling down the stairs. So this is a grass tree, or the botanical name is Xanthorrhoea, which starts with an X. For anyone who needs an X word in A for apple, B for whatever, bull, X for Xanthorrhoea. It's an older one that's gone to seed. When they first come into flower, they are just stunning. They get tiny, tiny little yellow flowers over that stalk and are covered in bees and insects. Just beautiful. All right, so let's come around here and have a look at this is where we get closer to the escarpment. It's just gorgeous. Look at that. And you can see the blue in the background. That's why it's called the Blue Mountains. And apparently that's because the eucalyptus oil evaporating creates that blue colour. And I can hear water. Let's come around here. So hopefully we have enough time. Pretty sure I allocated 45 minutes to this tour. Got about 5 minutes left. Hopefully we've got enough time just to get down to the Cascades. My signal's just dipped a little. That's back again. Look at the moss here. Okay, I can just see water through the trees here. You may not be able to see it clearly, but let's see if we can see it. Just getting a glimpse of it there. Let's keep moving and see if we can get closer to it. Oh, my signal's dipped. Hang in there, guys. Are you still with me? We've got 2 bars on their signal, so hopefully they've improved the track here. We've got track looks like it's lit up as well. Oh, thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. This boardwalk's new. I'm being told to come back and have a look this way. I'm not sure if you can really see through there. This is lovely here. And the forest, just really thin, tall, straight trunks over there. Ferns, tree ferns along the side of the walk. I've got to watch where I'm going. I'm going to trip over if I'm not careful. I hadn't planned to come this way, but this is a bit of a bonus. Is that a good postcard? Let me see. It's quite pretty, isn't it? Up here, this is where it gets really pretty. Just love the sound of the running water. Just beautiful. Well, last time I was here, we used to have to clamber across the creek on stepping stones. They built this fantastic boardwalk. All right, it's wet and slippery, so if you just admire the view while I try and get down a little closer. I do not want to slip over. All right, these are the stepping stones we used to have to clamber across when we used to bring the kids here. We used to go that way. And now they've installed this magnificent boardwalk, which is brilliant. So let's have a look. I'm not sure if I get a better view, which is going to test the stepping stones for us. No, there's no entrance fee for most of the Blue Mountains, but if you want to go into the national park itself, there's 2 points where you are required to pay an entrance fee. All right, I'm going to have a go at those stepping stones myself. All right, so again, you just admire the view while I negotiate the stepping stones. He's come back to guide me. Alrighty, here we go. 1, 2. Yeah, midstream. Here we go. You ready? You got your postcard buttons ready? He wants me to jump to the right and point the camera at the waterfall at the same time. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. How's that? Have we all got a good shot of that? It's just a jump to the left. Well, actually, it was a jump to the right. Or a step to the right. Okay. Let me watch where I'm going. Because there's no more stepping stones. I've got to go onto a rock. And that's quite pretty there too. I'm glad you're all having fun. Sorry, I've gone a little over time, but I think it was worth it. Here we go. Look at that. So this is called the Katoomba Cascades. Now don't forget, everyone, I want to see your postcards. So when you get back to Facebook, Suzanne, I would love to see you paint this. Take a postcard, paint it, stick it in the Facebook group. I think I'm going to finish up here, guys. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me this morning. I've really enjoyed it. This was a beautiful walk. It's been so long since I've been here. Same way I came, I think, Susanna. There are steps up here to the right. I think I can go up those and along the road. I think that's got all the falls in, as well as the pond with a pool at the bottom. Thank you all for joining me. Bye for now. Post postcards. I want to see them. Bye, everybody.